Learning to scuba dive can be a very rewarding choice and adventure, especially if you're in a place like I am presently, the Philippines, a place that offers dozens and dozens of excellent diving locations and dozens or hundreds really of diving certification dive shops. I certified through an SSI diving school in Malapascua, the Philippines, called Shark's Tail Dive Resort, and they did an excellent job. Real happy with the dives we did up there. And I'm going to walk you through the process, a little bit about the requirements and what you have to go through to get your certification. I used an SSI school. Scuba Schools International, PADI, is another very large organization, as well as some of these other organizations listed here. I did a little research on Wikipedia to find out who else certified divers, and here's some of that information. Wikipedia lists many other associations, organizations as well that do certification. Many different countries have their own setups, the Handicap Divers Association, etc. One thing you want to be sure of is that whoever you get certified through, you want to make sure that they are recognized in the areas that you may end up going to dive in. Because I suspect that not all recognize. You show up with your certification card someplace in the world and want to dive, and the people say, well, we don't recognize that organization here. We don't know anything about them. So you want to make sure that they are recognized wherever you're going to possibly could dive. Specialty diving classes are usually offered as well, like cave diving, night diving. Each organization has a little bit different name for the courses. SSI calls the course I took Open Water Diving Course. The first part of the course includes study material, and you can download that onto a phone, a tablet, probably your laptop from SSI. I believe PADI also has materials you can purchase and download and study ahead of time before going to the dive resort. And gives you questions at the end to answer so that you understand what you're reading. You will review that course material with an instructor, and either the next day or possibly even the same day, you will probably go into a pool area. You will become familiar with your equipment. You'll become familiar with breathing underwater with your mask. Filling your mask with water and learning how to clear it, which is something I didn't want to do, but it was relatively easy in the end once you get used to it. How to use and operate other controls of your equipment, that type of thing. I spent part of a morning and afternoon in the pool practicing with the instructor.
1, 2, 3.
We did a dive in the morning and a dive in the afternoon each of the next 2 days, and you can stay down for approximately 30 minutes with the tanks of airs that we had. By this time, you're becoming pretty familiar with your equipment, and you're using the time on the boat to set up your equipment. Put your BC, your buoyancy compensator vest on, getting your weights ready, getting your boots and your fins and your mask all ready to go for your dive. During your sea dives, ocean dives, or lake dives, you will practice all the items, the procedures that you've learned in the pool. And on land, you will learn and practice your hand signals. You will learn the signal that you're out of air. One of you is out of air, and you will share air. You actually have 2 breathing devices on you, and it's very easy to take one out of your mouth, give it to the other person if they're out of air, and you take your second breathing device and breathe through it, and then you make your ascent up to the surface. How to use your weights, how to use your BC, your buoyancy compensator, how to swim. I had a tendency using my hands much too much to swim, and I learned to swim using my body, holding my hands pretty much together, or holding my camera in my hands, and by using my legs and my body to change directions, by using my breathing. You breathe in, you increase the volume in your lungs, you start rising. You breathe out and you go down. So you learn to breathe, to uh, position yourself, to raise yourself up, to lower yourself up as you get near to different objects, or if you want to get closer. You learn all of those safety measures being under the water, and you become comfortable being under the water. You learn to uh, let water into your mask and then to clear it out of your mask. Something that, again, that I didn't want to do. I wear glasses. I was wearing contact lenses under the water. I was afraid that that salt water would really bother me and my contacts, but it didn't in the end. It didn't bother me at all, surprisingly. I'm going to show you some pricing. It's about the lowest pricing that I've seen. It's pretty consistent, the dive shops that I've talked to in the Philippines. In the U.S. as well, the pricing was pretty much right at $330, $350, I believe. I think that's the equivalent of about 15 and about 17,000 Philippine pesos. The dive school in the U.S. I talked to, I was familiar with the lake that they would take you to dive in, and I understand and know that that was fairly limited visibility, so that just didn't seem like a good idea to me. But it is an option if you're going to dive in the U.S. or other countries. Your local lakes and dive operations. And you can pay much more depending upon the location, depending upon the dive school and the resort and all that type of thing. After I was certified down to 18 meters, which is your open water course, I did an additional dive with an instructor down to 30 meters, or about 98 feet, to look at the thresher sharks. And I will show you some footage of that here in just a little bit after the pricing. These were posted prices when I was there, but to keep in mind that the seasons change, different areas around the world, and right here in the Philippines, we're going into our higher season, December, January, February, and the prices can change, so just keep that in mind. The top one there, the open water course, about 16,000 Philippine pesos. That certifies you down to 18 meters. That's the one I took initially, and then I took the additional dive with an instructor down to 30 meters to get certified to 30 meters, about 98 feet. And here is some thresher shark footage. They come up from about 200 meters each morning right after sunrise to be cleaned by other fish. And they are curious. They are not aggressive, is what I was told. But we probably saw 8 different sharks, and we got a couple really close views as they came by to take a look at us. And a very interesting dive down to about 30 meters, about 98 feet. Lots of boats up there, quite a few divers down here. And I had a get up, get to camera, which was rated to 30 meters, and it did not leak, which made me very happy. I was able to get all this footage. Thank you for coming along. If you have considered scuba diving, it is a great adventure and I highly recommend it. Please like, please share the video, please subscribe. Safe travels to you all, and we'll see you next time.